Hello everyone. I welcome all the learners to the YuktMind's initiative of 10 minutes and newspaper done. This discussion is of 1st June Hindu and we are late by 2 days since we were busy analyzing this year prelims paper, which you might have heard was lengthy, complicated and not an easy nut to crack surely. We will post the analysis video of the prelims soon on the channel. But till that time, let's finish the analysis quickly as we have some catching up to do here. You can download the PDF of the gist on our Telegram channel or website. First news, World No Tobacco Day is observed around the world every year on 31st May. It's now mandatory for over-the-top streaming platforms to display anti-tobacco warnings as seen in movies screened in theaters and TV, as per a Union Health Ministry notification on May 31, amending the rules under the Cigarettes and Other Tobacco Products Act 2004. On this 31st May, WHO and public health champions came together to celebrate World No Tobacco Day. This year theme is Grow Food, Not Tobacco. That is, they will raise awareness about alternative crop production and marketing opportunities for tobacco farmers so that they substitute it with nutritional, sustainable crops to aid global food crisis. Second news is about world's largest grain storage plant. The Union Cabinet on May 31 approved the constitution and empowerment of an interministerial committee for facilitation of the world's largest grain storage plant in cooperative sector by convergence of various schemes of the Ministries of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, and Food Processing Industries. The Ministry of Cooperation would implement a pilot project in at least 10 selected districts of different states. This interministerial committee will be chaired by Cooperation and Home Minister Amit Shah. It will lay guidelines for creation of infrastructure such as godowns for agricultural and allied purposes at selected viable primary agricultural credit societies (PACs). According to the minister, lack of agricultural storage capacity leads to wastage of food grains and farmers are forced to sell their crops at low prices. With this decision, farmers will now get modern grain storage facilities in their blocks through packs so that they will be able to get fair price for their grains. Now, farmers could sell their crops to primary agricultural credit society by receiving some advance payment at the minimum support prices and get the balance after the pack sold the food grains in the market. Third news, the Union government on May 31 approved the second phase of the city investments to innovate, integrate and sustain, in short, CITIIS project, a program under the ambit of the Smart Cities mission which aims to promote integrated waste management and climate-oriented reforms action. The CITIIS 2.0 will be implemented in 18 cities which would be selected based on a competition. The program aims to support competitively selected projects promoting circular economy with a focus on integrated waste management at the city level, climate-oriented reforms action at the state level, and institutional strengthening and knowledge dissemination at the national level. It would span over a period of 4 years from 2023 to 27 and has been conceived and would be implemented in partnership with the French Development Agency, KfW, which is a German state-owned investment and development bank based in Frankfurt, the European Union, and National Institute of Urban Affairs. Fourth news, the Union government will invite applications for setting up semiconductor and display fabrication units in India from June 1 onwards. The applications will be received by India Semiconductor Mission, which is the designated nodal agency entrusted with the responsibility of implementing the modified Semicon India program. Now, what is Semicon India program? It was launched in December 2021 amid government efforts to boost domestic electronics manufacturing. It was given an outlay of 76,000 crore rupees by Union Cabinet. It has been set up as an independent business division within Digital India Corporation having administrative and financial autonomy. Now, what is the significance of semiconductor? It holds strategic importance and are key to the security of critical information infrastructure which protects the entire IT system of the country. But India has to import 100% of chips from Taiwan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand and Vietnam. To find the extra details, you have to download the PDF from our Telegram channel. Fifth news, India has joined the centralized laboratory network, which has 15 partner facilities in 13 countries that works to test vaccines which can be used during pandemics and epidemic disease outbreak. Centralized Laboratory Network (CLN) is part of the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovation, and the network is the largest global group which has standardized methods and materials for testing. Sixth news is about India's status in the area of graphene. What artificial intelligence is to software and quantum computing is to computers, graphene is to materials. While India is among the leaders in AI and a potential challenger in quantum computing, it needs to catch up in the area of graphene. According to the Grand View research, the global graphene market size was valued at $175.9 million in 2022 and is expected to grow at a growth rate of 46.6% between 2023 and 2030. Although graphene was discovered in 2004, it was difficult to produce high grade, large scale graphene. But things have changed. As per a report, at least one graphene enhanced product was launched every week in 2022. Over 300 companies are now producing graphene or its derivatives. Now, why graphene is called a wonder material or a technological disruptor for coming decades? There are various reasons behind it. Graphene is the world's thinnest, strongest, and most conductive material of both electricity and heat. It conducts electricity better than copper. It is 200 times stronger than steel but 6 times lighter than the steel. It is perfectly transparent as it absorbs only 2% of light. It is impermeable to gases, even those as light as hydrogen and helium. It has the potential to revolutionize electricity, conductivity, energy generation, batteries, sensors, and others. Also, when added to other materials, graphene, even in small quantities, produces composite materials with dramatically transformed qualities. Graphene composites are used in automotive, sports equipment, and construction. It is used for high performance batteries and supercapacitors, touch screens, and conductive inks. Graphene based sensors are used for environmental monitoring, healthcare, and wearable devices. Graphene oxide membranes are used for water purification and desalination. Graphene is important for defense and aerospace as well because its exceptional strength makes it promising material for armor and ballistic protection. Graphene has the potential to absorb and dissipate electromagnetic waves, making it valuable for developing stealth coatings and materials that reduce radar signatures and electromagnetic interference. Graphene based materials can also protect us against chemical and biological attacks. Now, what is the global scenario in the graphene production? Among the leading countries in graphene research are China, USA, UK, Japan, South Korea, Russia, and Singapore. China and Brazil are global leaders in the commercial production of graphene. India produces about 1/12 compared to China and 1/3 compared to Brazil. Now, where is India standing in the area of graphene? Some startups and foreign subsidiaries have started graphene or graphene derivatives in India. Like a laudable step in this direction was the setting up of the India Innovation Center for Graphene in Kerala, which is being implemented by the Digital University Kerala in partnership with Tata Steel and Cement Thrissur. But the center needs to become the nodal point to spur large scale innovation activity around graphene. A nodal ministry needs to be entrusted with this responsibility. Seventh news is about China's military diplomacy in Southeast Asia. So, ASEAN has become a priority target for the People's Liberation Army's military diplomacy. Now, what are the current undertakings? The PLA and the Laotian People's Armed Forces have recently concluded their bilateral military exercise Friendship Shield 2023. The People Liberation's Army's Southern Theater Command conducted the Golden Dragon drills with Cambodia from late March to early April this year. The PLASTC, which is Southern Theater Command, conducted a joint exercise with the Singaporean Navy. Xi Jinping has put excessive emphasis on defense diplomacy under his flagship Global Security Initiative. Now, how does the Global Security Initiative challenge the ASEAN's cohesiveness? The GSI invited varied responses from the ASEAN, which reflects the classic divergences in intra-association stances on bandwagoning and hedging between China and the USA. China's heavy belt and road investments have been welcomed by Indonesia. Despite Vietnam's mistrust of the GSI, analysts suggest that it maintains a relatively neutral stance in its relations with China. On the other hand, in Myanmar, despite a majority of observers placing no confidence in the global security initiative, China is making political, military, and economic inroads. Since the takeover of the junta, the development of the China Myanmar economic corridor has only accelerated. A new satellite imagery is also showing China building a surveillance military base on Great Cocoa Islands in Myanmar. It impacts India because the Great Cocoa Islands lie just 55 kilometers north of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and their militarization by China poses a strategic threat to India's national security. Now, Philippines still to the USA is worrisome for China because with Philippines, China shares a disputed maritime border in the Luzon Strait in the South China Sea. It is worrisome for China because Philippines' decision to provide the USA with access to 4 military bases in addition to the 5 bases the US already had access to under the 2014 Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement between the two sides. 8th news. UAE has withdrawn from US led maritime coalition, the 38 nation combined maritime forces CMF, which is tasked with securing tense Gulf waterways that are vital to the global oil trade. The Bahrain headquarters CMF was established in 2001 initially as a partnership between 12 nations. Now, what is the purpose of CMF? It is a multinational maritime partnership which exists to uphold the rules based international order by countering illicit non state actors on the high seas and promoting security, stability, and prosperity in the Gulf area. CMF is commanded by a US Navy Vice Admiral. Now, important question is India a member of CMF? If you know the answer, write in the comments. Ninth news. India seeks leeway to plan shift to sustainable aviation fuel. The 41st International Civil Aviation Organization Assembly adopted a long-term global aspirational goal LTAG for international aviation of net zero carbon emissions by 2050 in support of the UNFCCC Paris Agreement goal of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius and reach net zero by 2050. But India asserted that global mandates for sustainable aviation fuel with 2050 as the target year was too early, and each country must be allowed to develop its strategy according to its national plans. India said till SAF production and availability are ensured, any volumetric mandates will not be consistent with the ideology of LTAG. Thank you for watching. Keep visiting our website, Telegram, Instagram, and Twitter.